It was just another quiet morning at the small diner on the edge of town, the kind of place where regulars come in like clockwork, and the scent of fresh coffee fills the air before the sun fully rises. Emma, a kind-hearted waitress in her 20s, was starting her shift, hair pulled back, apron tied snug, and that same warm smile she wore every day. She had no idea that today would be anything but ordinary. Around mid-morning, a man walked in, tall, well-dressed, but reserved. There was something different about him, though. When Emma greeted him, he didn't respond. She tried again, this time more slowly, but still nothing. That's when she noticed he wasn't being rude, he was deaf. Without missing a beat, Emma switched gears. She didn't know sign language, but that didn't stop her. She grabbed a notepad, scribbled down a quick message, and slid it across the counter with a smile. The man looked surprised, then nodded and smiled back. From that moment on, they communicated through notes, gestures, and patience. Emma made sure he felt welcome, refilling his coffee without being asked, making sure his food was perfect, and even writing little jokes on the napkins to make him laugh. What Emma didn't know, what no one in that diner could have guessed, was that the man sitting at that booth wasn't just another customer passing through. His name was David, and he was one of the richest men in the country. A tech billionaire known for staying out of the spotlight, David had grown tired of being surrounded by people who only saw his money. So he started doing something different, visiting ordinary places under the radar, just to see how people treated him when they didn't know who he was. And Emma, she treated him with the same kindness and dignity she gave to every customer who walked through those doors. No special treatment, no expectations, just simple human decency. But David noticed. He noticed the way she took care of the elderly woman at table 3, how she rushed to help the cook when the grill started acting up, and how she made sure every customer left with a smile, no matter how hard her day was going. What happened next? Well, let's just say David wasn't about to leave without doing something that would change Emma's life forever. But how he chose to reveal his true identity, and the stunning offer he made, left everyone in the diner speechless. You won't believe what he did next. David kept coming back to the diner, day after day, always at the same time, always sitting at the same booth near the window. At first, the staff thought he was just another traveler passing through, but Emma began to notice small things that didn't quite add up. His clothes, while simple, were clearly expensive. His watch looked like it cost more than a year's rent, but he never acted like someone who wanted attention. He barely spoke, only scribbled little notes when needed, and always left generous tips, though never so large that it raised eyebrows. Emma, raised by a single mom and used to hard work, didn't pry. She respected his privacy and focused on her job. But still, a part of her was curious. Who was this man? Why did he keep returning to a place like this when he clearly didn't belong in a small-town diner? She shared her thoughts with one of her co-workers during a break, but they just shrugged. Probably just lonely, they said. People like that, they don't always have someone to talk to. What Emma didn't know was that David had done this before. He had visited places where people wore masks the moment they recognized his face, acting polite, overly helpful, hoping for a favor or a photo. But here, in this simple little diner, no one knew who he was. And for the first time in a long while, he felt normal. He could just exist, without the pressure of his wealth or name. Emma reminded him of someone, his sister, who had passed away years ago. She had been the only one who treated him like a person, not a billionaire. Watching Emma work, helping customers with tired smiles and kind eyes, brought back memories David hadn't thought about in years. There was something genuine about her, something rare. One day, Emma's shift was longer than usual. The diner was short-staffed, and she barely had time to breathe between tables. David noticed the way she hid her exhaustion, the way she smiled through sore feet and a tired back. She even apologized when she brought him the wrong coffee refill, something he hadn't even noticed. That night, after she clocked out, David waited outside near his car. He wanted to speak to her, to thank her, maybe say more. But as she stepped out the back door, tying her sweater around her waist and rubbing her eyes, he hesitated. Was now the right time? Would she even believe him if he told her the truth? He pulled out his phone, tapped a few words into his text-to-speech app, and stepped forward. But just as he raised the phone to speak, someone else approached Emma from the shadows. Emma flinched as she turned toward the shadowy figure approaching her. At first, she thought it was just a late customer or maybe someone from the kitchen taking a smoke break. But the man's posture was tense, his voice low and rushed. "Hey, Emma, right? I need to talk to you," he said. She didn't recognize him. He was maybe in his 30s, with messy hair and a nervous look in his eyes. David, standing just a few feet away, lowered his phone slowly, watching silently. Emma shifted her weight, uneasy. "Do I know you?" she asked. The man hesitated. "No, not really. But I've seen you here before. I've been watching this place for a few days." His words were quick, almost desperate. "You have no idea who that guy is to you." He nodded toward David without taking his eyes off Emma. Emma froze. She glanced at David, who stood still, unreadable. The stranger continued, "That man in there, he's not who you think. He's not just some nice, quiet guy. He's David Langston, the billionaire, the one who disappeared from the public eye years ago." She blinked, confused. "Wait, what? What are you talking about?" David stepped forward then, raising his phone again, his fingers tapping quickly. The voice on the app finally broke the silence. "Please don't listen to him. Let me explain." But the stranger wasn't done. "He's playing you, Emma. You really think someone like him is just hanging around a diner for no reason? People like him don't just show up in small towns unless they're running from something or hiding something." Emma looked back and forth between the two men, heart racing. Everything suddenly felt surreal. She thought about David's quiet demeanor, the expensive watch, the generous tips. The pieces were starting to fit, but the picture they formed was still blurry. Meanwhile, inside the diner, Emma's friend and co-worker Jenny had noticed the commotion outside. She nudged the cook, pointing toward the window. "Hey, what's going on out there?" Back outside, Emma crossed her arms. "Okay, enough. Both of you. What's really going on here?" David's eyes were steady, but there was something behind them, something like guilt or fear. He started typing again, but the stranger stepped closer. "You deserve to know the truth, Emma. You think he's here because he likes your coffee. No, he's testing you, watching you, probably planning something." Emma took a step back, overwhelmed. She didn't know who to trust. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just about kindness anymore. Something deeper was at play, and she was caught in the middle of it. And then, without warning, David reached into his coat. Emma's breath caught in her throat as David slowly reached into his coat. The stranger's hand twitched, like he was ready to step in or maybe bolt. The air between them grew heavy, like time had slowed. From inside the diner, Jenny pressed her face to the window, eyes wide. Emma took a half step back, unsure whether to run or shout for help. But David wasn't pulling out anything dangerous. He carefully removed a small leather notebook, well worn, with pages sticking out at odd angles. He held it out to Emma with both hands, like it was something fragile. "This is what he does," the stranger snapped. "Plays the quiet, innocent card. That book is probably full of notes on you. He's studying you." Emma hesitated, then took the notebook. She opened it, flipping through the pages. Her name was written more than once, but not in a creepy way. It was notes about her kindness, sketches of moments she'd probably forgotten, helping an elderly man who dropped his keys, covering a shift for a single mom, offering free pie to a crying teenager. Her hands trembled. "What is this?" she whispered. David tapped out another message on his phone. The synthetic voice broke through the silence again. "I'm not studying you. I'm learning from you." The stranger shook his head. "You really think that's normal? A billionaire hiding out in a diner and following a waitress around?" Emma turned to David, her voice quiet but firm. "Why didn't you tell me who you were?" David's eyes were full of something raw. "Regret, maybe," he typed. "Because people treat me differently when they know. I just wanted to be seen for who I am." The stranger stepped forward again. "You can't trust him, Emma. He's lying, or at least hiding something." Emma clutched the notebook to her chest, torn. Her instincts told her David wasn't dangerous, but she didn't know what to believe anymore. Why would a billionaire take such an interest in someone like her? Why now? Then the lights in the diner flickered. Jenny opened the back door and called out, "Emma, are you okay?" Emma didn't answer. Her eyes were still locked on David, who was now reaching for something else. This time, a phone. He pulled up a message, turned the screen to her. It read, "Asterisk, there's something I need to show you. But once I do, everything changes. Asterisk." The wind picked up, rustling the pages of the notebook in her hand. The stranger took another step closer, lowering his voice. "Don't do it. You'll regret it." Emma stared at the screen. Her heart pounded. Whatever was about to happen, it would change everything. Emma's eyes stayed fixed on the message David held up. "Asterisk, there's something I need to show you. But once I do, everything changes." Asterisk, her fingers tightened around the notebook, the weight of the moment pressing down like never before. She felt like she was standing on the edge of something bigger than she could understand, like a secret was waiting to explode right in front of her. Before she could respond, a dark SUV pulled up at the edge of the lot, headlights cutting through the dim alleyway behind the diner. The doors didn't open at first. It just sat there, engine humming low. Emma glanced at David, who had suddenly gone still, his posture tense. The stranger noticed too. "You see that?" he muttered. "That's not random." Two men stepped out, both in black suits, speaking into earpieces. They scanned the lot before heading toward them with calm, purposeful strides. One of them called out, "Mr. Langston, we've been trying to reach you. It's not safe here anymore." Emma's jaw dropped. Mr. Langston. The confirmation rang in her ears. The name she'd seen in articles about tech empires, philanthropic ventures, and mysterious disappearances. David, this quiet, thoughtful man she'd served coffee to, was actually the billionaire everyone had been looking for. David shook his head at the men, quickly typing on his phone again. The robotic voice said, "I told you not to follow me. I'm not ready yet." But the man closest to them didn't slow down. "Sir, the board is moving without you. There's news. Someone leaked your location. This place isn't safe. And he nodded toward Emma, she may be compromised." Emma took a step back, shocked. "Compromised? What are you talking about?" The second man spoke up. "We have reason to believe someone inside your circle, maybe even someone you've met here, has been tracking your movements, feeding information to the media, or worse." Emma turned sharply toward the stranger. He raised both hands like he was innocent, but the tension in his face betrayed him. "I told you people would find out. You think I'm the only one who noticed him?" David quickly typed again. Asterisk, not her. "I trust her." Asterisk. But now Emma's heart was racing for a new reason. Had someone been watching her too? Her phone buzzed in her apron pocket. Unknown number, no message. She swallowed hard. This wasn't just a strange encounter anymore. It was becoming dangerous. One of the agents leaned toward David. "Sir, we need to leave now. And if she's coming with us, she needs to decide. Fast." Emma's world spun. Leave, go where, and why her? David looked straight at her, his phone glowing with one final message. "Asterisk, if you come with me, you'll know everything. But there's no going back." Asterisk. Emma stared at the glowing message on David's phone. Asterisk, "if you come with me, you'll know everything. But there's no going back." Asterisk. The wind whipped around them, loose pages from the notebook fluttering to the pavement. Everything she thought she knew, about her life, her job, this quiet man, was crumbling. But something inside her clicked. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe instinct. She took a shaky breath, then nodded. "I'm coming," she said. The agents didn't waste time. One opened the SUV door while the other scanned the area. The stranger who'd warned her earlier grabbed her arm suddenly, eyes wide with urgency. "Don't go, you don't know what you're walking into." David stepped between them, his face hard, protective. For the first time, he didn't type, he didn't need to. His body language said enough. The agents moved in quickly, separating them. Emma yanked her arm free and climbed into the SUV, heart thudding like a drum. David followed close behind. Inside the vehicle, everything changed. David's demeanor shifted, still kind, but more focused. He typed quickly, and the voice spoke. "I built something. A program. It can track media manipulation, social engineering, even predict market shifts. But someone stole a piece of it." Emma blinked. "Stole it?" He nodded. "They're using it to control narratives, discredit people, hide crimes. I've been hiding until I could find someone to trust, someone who wouldn't see just the money." Emma couldn't believe it. She'd walked into a secret that touched the highest levels of power. And yet, the real twist was still coming. As the SUV turned onto the highway, David's phone lit up with an alert. He stared at the screen, then showed it to Emma. Asterisk data breach traced. Source: local diner, employee login asterisk. Her stomach dropped. "What? Whoa." He typed, "Jenny." Emma gasped. Her best friend, the one who'd worked beside her for years. Always watching, always asking questions, but never suspicious. Until now. David spoke again through the app. "She was planted, sent to monitor me. And you." Emma sank back into the seat, stunned. The pieces were falling into place. The strange phone call Jenny got last week. The time she stayed late, alone in the office. It wasn't random. As the SUV sped down the highway, David turned to Emma, one last message appearing on his screen. Asterisk, "We're not running. We're going to expose them. Together, asterisk." But just as the words settled, a black van appeared behind them, speeding up fast. Emma's eyes widened as David looked back, then calmly typed one last sentence. Asterisk, "They found us first asterisk." The black van closed in fast, headlights glaring in the SUV's rearview mirror. The agents exchanged tense glances, one of them pulling out a device that looked like a secure comms panel. "We've been compromised," he muttered. "Evasive route now." The driver swerved off the main road, tires screeching as they cut through a back street lined with empty warehouses. Emma clutched the seat, heart pounding. David remained calm, typing something onto his tablet, fingers moving like he'd done this before. A few minutes later, the van behind them disappeared, either lost in the turns or cut off by a security diversion. The SUV slowed, finally pulling into an underground garage below a nondescript building. When the doors locked behind them with a heavy clang, Emma exhaled for the first time in minutes. Inside the safe house, David brought her to a secure room, walls lined with screens, data streams, and encrypted files. There, he showed her everything. The program he'd built, the names of powerful figures manipulating public perception, and how Jenny had accessed his location through diner Wi-Fi logs disguised as routine system checks. Emma felt a wave of betrayal crash over her. Jenny, her closest friend, had been working for the very people David was trying to stop. But even more shocking was how far it all went. Politicians, corporations, news outlets, tied together through subtle shifts in data, all quietly steered by stolen software. David explained his plan. He hadn't just chosen Emma because she was kind. He'd seen in her the one thing missing from the powerful circles he once moved in: integrity. "You didn't try to impress me. You didn't want anything. You just treated me like a person." With Emma's help, and the backup files hidden in David's notebook, they launched a digital release timed perfectly with major news cycles. Anonymous leaks, verified documents, video clips, and internal messages. Within 48 hours, global headlines exploded with the truth. Jenny was arrested, and though she cried betrayal, The evidence was clear. She'd sold out David for a promised payout and a quiet promotion. Back in the diner a week later, Emma sat alone at booth 3, sipping her coffee. The place was quiet, just like before, only now the quiet felt different. She wasn't just a waitress anymore. She was part of something bigger. David hadn't disappeared again. He still came by, now openly known as the tech billionaire who'd exposed a global cover-up with the help of a small-town waitress. And Emma, she never asked for fame or money. But she got something even more valuable, a purpose, and a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can echo far beyond what we see. Sometimes, changing the world starts with just pouring the right cup of coffee.